Welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 205 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, and every week for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there as far as podcasts or whatever it is that you do in your day or to fill in your free time. So I sincerely appreciate you putting me in your ears again today. If you're enjoying this podcast, though, I would love you to take a screenshot and share it on your socials. Tag me, of course, at Jen Donovan on just about every platform. That would be super cool, because sometimes I feel like it's a one-way conversation between us, and if you tag me on social media and I get to follow you, then it can become a two-way conversation, which would just be awesome. Of course, you can find all the show notes for this particular podcast episode at all the W's, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/205. Before I get started on this episode, though, have you listened to last week's episode 204? I had the Australian Taxation Office on the last episode, and we were talking about e-invoicing, which is a really great initiative produced by the Australian Taxation Office, or rolled out by the Australian Taxation Office, to really help us with our invoicing, but also security around invoicing, because I'm sure that we have all received that invoice that we think, is this real? Is this from that person, or have they been hacked? So e-invoicing is one of the solutions. That go back and have a listen to episode 204 if you haven't already. But on to today's episode. Today I'm going to talk about digital marketing strategy, or a digital marketing strategy referred to as the POME model. Yes, it's an acronym, most unlike marketers to come up with something like that, right? Yeah, I know. Anyway, POME, P for paid, O for owned, E for earned, M for media. So paid, owned and earned media. That's what I'm talking about on the podcast today. Paid media, of course, is any form of media which requires you to pay for that media to get additional exposure to, warm or cold or even hot audiences. Could be social media paid marketing, like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or pay-per-click as far as Google is concerned. Benefits, of course, of paid media are immediate results. They're scalable and they're measurable, and they have the greatness of doing amazing testing. Who doesn't love a good test and measure campaign? So that's paid media. The O in POME, of course, was for owned media, and owned media is quite simply using the assets you already have, like your email list or your social following or your community or your website and all that sort of thing. This is the media that you own. I know I put own in inverted commas because we don't own our social following, but they are following you. So for this example, in the POME marketing strategy, we are calling that owned media. The benefits of owned media are, of course, longevity, loyalty, targeting, getting to know who your ideal client is, and just knowing you have impact on other humans in a positive way organically. E in POME was earned media. And this is media created by others. So basically word of mouth media in some ways, others talking about what you do. I might use the term UGC, so user-generated content, for instance, when it comes to earned media. There is no financial consideration, so no money is paid, and it is organic, but it could be PR. So it could be you writing a blog for Koshi's Business Builders or for Smart Company or, your local radio station. So it's earned media. It's not on your platforms. It's on somebody else's platform, but it's still organic. So you're not paying to get into Koshi's. You're not paying to get on the radio. Excuse me. But, you are still earning that media. Of course, the benefits of earned media are higher quality leads, building trust, more brand awareness, and hopefully, in most cases, more cost effectiveness when you're using other strategies such as paid media. POM is a great way to check in with your marketing strategy or your marketing plan. Do you have some POM in it? If you're always and just paying for media, then you're doing marketing wrong. If you never pay for media, then you are doing marketing wrong. You should be investing, the statistics tell us you should be investing 10% of your turnover back into your marketing. If you are never earning your spot or extending your community through earned media, then you are, yes, I'm afraid, doing marketing wrong. POM really serves as this framework for your digital marketing strategies. POM works to deepen and strengthen your brand, your relationship with your existing customers, and it also works to bring more brand awareness and bring in new customers. So let's have a think about POM, using POM as a digital framework in a small business, for instance. Paid media is pretty simple, isn't it? Like, we could do a Facebook ad, we could do an Instagram ad, we could do a Google ad, we could do a Google shopping ad. Of course, it could be also pay for radio, pay for TV, it could be paid for newspaper. If we take, we call this a digital strategy, but if we take it from digital to just paid, then paid media could be running a TV ad or something like that. Of course, research needs to be done for a good paid ad. And from experience, I would say that a percentage of money will have a very low return at the beginning because you're starting to play with paid media. If you've never done paid media yourself, then there is this experimental thing that needs to go on for you to learn how the platforms work. If you say you're doing an Instagram ad, who you're targeting, what that audience looks like, etc., etc. So there is a little bit of playing that needs to be done if you are going to do this yourself, and you've got to expect that some of the money you will invest may not have a super big return. Of course, you can use an agency as well, so you don't have to do paid media by yourself. You can use an agency, but either way, you need to have very specific metrics, goals, and measurable outcomes for any paid media that you do. Because we can all slap up an ad with a $20 budget for 10 days and get loads of reach, but whether an ad is successful, it depends on what you're measuring. Like, honestly, you need a return on investment. So the measurable bit, in my opinion, should be the money that then exists in your bank. Like, if you are doing paid media, then you probably should be seeing a paid return on that. Especially if you're going through an agency. There are good ones out there and there are bad ones out there, and the way to sort that is going in to an arrangement going, these are my specific goals and this is how I'm going to measure it. And if you don't do this, then, the arrangement's off. Because, if they don't get you what you want, then there's no use continuing doing either that, continuing to work with that agency, or of course continuing to do the paid ad at all. And if you are running an ad to be more popular, AKA, or also known as getting more likes and more follows, then you are wasting your vain money. Please don't do that. Please don't run ads just to get more likes or more follows. It's not good. It's just not good. It's not good return on your investment. There's probably one or two circumstances that I might recommend you run an ad for more likes and more follows, but 99.9% of the time, you shouldn't do that. I'm not going to get into the reasons why I think that sometimes you should do that, because I've discussed it on other podcast episodes. But all in all, just don't do it. Okay. And if you're wondering, get into contact with me. If you want to know if you are in that 1.1% of being able to do these ads, then get in contact and we can have a bit of a chat about it. So, of course, next is owned media. So we just talked about paid media. Let's talk a little bit more about owned media. Most of my podcast is all about owned media and how to do that better and more successful. So I'm not going to spend too much time on owned media. Remember, owned media is your own platforms, as in your Instagram, your Facebook, your email list, your website traffic, all of that sort of thing. Stuff that you technically own, and again, in inverted commas. But my biggest tips is to think community over sales. So when you're posting or when you're setting up these things, think about, community over getting more sales. Think about collaboration over competition, and be consistent. The more owned media you can build, the more successful your brand and business will be. Because remember, we don't just want to attract the people who will one day do business with us. Yes, we want to attract the people we attract most, we want to do business with us one day, but we also want to attract people who will refer business to us as well. Remembering not everyone is your buyer, but everyone probably knows a buyer for you. So we've got to broaden our thinking a little bit there as well. Earned media is about others talking about you. So using other people's platforms to market yourself. Again, I'm going to call Facebook and Instagram owned media at this point for these examples. So earned media is not that, but it could be someone else on the platform on Instagram talking about you, but it's not you talking about you on your platform, on your own Instagram or your own Facebook. We could think PR, having a PR strategy, and we could also think, talk a little bit more about UGC, which is that user generated content. There's probably two tricks here. One is writing things for others to publish. That's one way of getting some earned media. So using media to extend your brand awareness and what you do, and extending, the amount of people who know what you do is a terrific way to get out there in the market. Of course, writing things for others to publish, such as blogs or articles and things like that, doesn't always result in immediate sales. PR strategies are a bit of a longevity marketing strategy. Earned media is just a great piece of the puzzle when it comes to a good all-round marketing strategy. And when I say write something, obviously, again, we're talking about blogs or articles, or you can hop on someone's podcast and be an interviewee, or even local or national radio and give your thoughts and your point of view. It doesn't have to be written content when it comes to earned media. My number 2 trick here with earned media is working out how you can encourage more people to mention you or your content in their media. For example, if you sell dresses, or if you even sell courses, how do you encourage that buyer who already likes and trusts you and has probably had a fabulous experience with you? How do you encourage them to let more people know about that great experience? For example, how do you encourage them right now in your marketing to tag you on social media, to forward an email from you to somebody else who would actually really like to read that email or would find that email or that course really helpful, and so on and so forth. This is what you need to think about as a marketing strategy. How are we encouraging others to talk about us? Because UGC is like testimonials, but it's more organic and less structured from their end. It's just them celebrating a great experience they already had with your business or with your community, but they talk about it, that we are somehow in the background encouraging them to talk about it, which frankly equals just about the best marketing you can get. It's almost digital word of mouth. If you can get more UGC, more user generated content, then it really will enhance your marketing and enhance the quality of people you attract into your business. So can you hear from all of this that you clearly need a good mix of all 3 media in your marketing strategy? You need to invest some money into your marketing and have a paid strategy. You need to work better at creating owned media and put some energy there and put some, thoughts and strategy behind a campaign for earned media as well. Remember it when you start strategizing next time for your business. It is a good acronym. It is a really good all-rounded marketing strategy to think. Again, like I said at the start, if you're never paying for media, then you're really not marketing your business the way you should. If you are always paying for media, you are not marketing your business like you should. If you are never earning media, then again, you're not getting that well-rounded marketing strategy either. So remember POEM: paid, owned, earned media. It will do you some great things when you are next sitting down and thinking about the strategy for your marketing plan. But that's it for another week. That's all I'm going to talk about with POEM. I just really wanted to plant the seed and make you really sit back and think to yourself, how am I marketing my business? Am I never paying? Am I always paying? Am I not concentrating on my owned media? Or am I never reaching out and trying to earn some media? That's what I want to leave you with today. Those simple thoughts. But I'd love you to come into my Facebook group if you're not already there, or if you are there, come into the Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group and let's have a chat. Tell me, what does your marketing strategy look like? Have you got some POEM in it? Of course, that's it. So I will see you next week for episode 206. But in the meantime, if we're not hanging out on social or you're not part of my Facebook group, then let's get social on social. You can, of course, find me on Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn at Jen Donovan. But I'd really love to know what you think of POEM and that as a marketing strategy. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peep, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.